Hello, welcome to Flower Juice. My name is John McDonald, and today we're going to make a video using this vase. Now, friends of ours moved into a new house and it had quite a lot of old stuff kicking around. They were throwing out a load of old ceramics and everything, and I basically got challenged to take this away and do something with it. Now, this is one of your kind of tourist vases. You're either going to love it or hate it. I thought it's not necessarily my cup of tea, but it's too nice to just throw out. So I rescued it. So now we're going to have a wee go and make something with it. Now I'm pretty sure that this is not glazed. So if I add water to it, it's just going to come out. It's going to be porous and it's going to get damaged. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a little dish up the top here. This is a little florist saucer. So what I would call an oboe is what it used to be known as, and we can add our little container up here. So I can trim that down. The reason I'm doing that is it gives me a little bit more access to our foam. Now we are going to use a little bit of foam for this, I'm really sorry, but I still have a little bit of foam left over from doing various things, and you know, I still have to use it basically. But I am definitely reducing the amount of foam I am using. I'm recently, not that long back from helping with a wedding that was really sustainable. And it really did show to me just how not easy it is for things to be sustainable, but actually there are ways of making things in sustainable ways. But for this kind of arrangement, the problem that you would have is the vase isn't watertight, so we would have to make it watertight or find a solution. But also for the style of arrangement, we are wanting to be able to come down a little bit as well. So by adding a little piece of foam up here, we can do that, we can achieve that. So what I'm thinking is we've got a Greek style vase. This is just some fix, which is like a putty. And what we can do with the fix is use it to hold our little dish on. So straight away, that is not going anywhere. If you find that this is too light and it's at risk of getting knocked over, what you could do is you could fill it with sand. That'll give it a little bit of weight, which is a really good idea. So material-wise, I'm thinking we've got a Greek vase. Let's use some materials that are slightly Greek. Or not so much Greek, but have that feeling of Greece. So I have picked things that are basically dry or herby. So I have some nice rosemary. So what we're going to do is we're just going to add our herby bits. Now I also have some eucalyptus. So essentially, if I think of Greece, I think of it being quite hot and dry, but I also think of it being a place where there's a lot of natural herbs. So we will pick up on that and use that to our advantage. So I'm going to make quite a kind of classic style. So we're going to put a little bit of a curve into this design. I've got some nice sedum, which is your kind of very classic sort of dry material as well, but not dry totally. And we're just at the moment building up a little bit of a framework, because really my main flower that I want to use are these echinacea, which I have in the garden, which I think are quite fun. So this is a little bit of sage. So again, that kind of herby feel, that smell that would make you think of holiday. So as you can see, we're starting to create our framework. Now, I think a little bit of cinerea here as well. This isn't a herb, but it has that kind of herby feel. So we're going to pop a little bit of that in as well. Now that nice tip we can have at the front, but we don't need to waste the rest. We can cut it into like a little placement and bring it to the back. So you can see that we are creating this little framework. And really just picking up on those kind of silvers as well as a colour. So this rosemary is a little bit woody. So let's have a look at our echinacea. It's one of those things, they're not really a true flower as such. And I think I just want to make sure that they're in nice condition as well. So, as I say, I was doing quite a classic sort of style, which I think is kind of fun to revisit. And actually, all these principles of designing where we take things in a classic way, that is an underlying thing that is always going to be there. It's not going to disappear. I want to just take one through the back there. And we'll bring a little bit of this more into the centre. So you can see what we're doing is this is catching your eye. Your eye is coming down through the design. Now, I do have a few grasses and a little bit of mint, so we're going to just pop them in as well. Now that's a pity that he goes that way. You're too thingy. I have to say the smell of this is really good. So when I'm cutting that there, I'm just looking at how best to cut it and get maybe a couple of uses out of things. So what we did was we managed to bring that tip into here, but that lower part of that stem into there, which worked really well. And now we can add some of these little grasses. So it's going to be these little touches that give it a little bit of movement, make it feel a little bit fun. So this would be a great kind of arrangement to do if you were having a party or a Greek night, or you want to theme it. And I think when you're having food, it's nice to maybe have some flowers to decorate the room, to decorate beside where the food actually is. So having some herbs there as well is a really good idea. The only thing is, if you're doing table flowers, like actual table flowers, I wouldn't have anything that's too heavily scented. So yeah, it's nice to have maybe the herbs and things beside the food, but not necessarily beside where you're actually going to sit and eat. It'd be a bit like sitting beside someone wearing very strong perfume. You want to get away from that. Now, we've got our beautiful arrangement, but what I want to do is just bring in a little pop of colour. So I'm going to bring in a touch of these chrysanths. And I think this is kind of what it needs, was just a little bit of a strong colour, but we don't want to take away from what we've got. And the great thing with these chrysanths is they've got some really nice stems for getting a little bit of length. For actually cutting and using. so many materials now are grown specifically for bouquets in mind. And years ago, when they grew chrysanthemums, or like this type kind of Santini sort of style, they were really grown for breaking down for using in arrangements. So it is worth keeping that in mind, that actually, if you're going to break it down, you're looking for ones that have nice side branches, nice side stems. And I don't really want to waste anything that's on that. So we'll just make sure we've used every bit of the stem. And might even take a little bit through the back. Now, sometimes people kind of wonder, why would you put something at the back? Well, just if you catch a glimpse of this from the back, it gives the whole arrangement much more depth and much more interest. And it is worth keeping in mind that if people are going to walk in from either side, you need to make sure that it looks good from the sides as well. But there we go. So to my friend who gave me the vase, I've used your vase. And I think we've created something that's quite interesting. So for like a summer party out on a terrace, you're going to get the smell of the herbs, and we've got a nice, informal, fresh sort of look that really complements the vase. But what do you think? Do you like it? Do you not like it? Would you like to have this vase? Let us know in the comments below. Now, we've got new videos every week, and we'd love you to join us for our next design. If you've not already subscribed, then click here to subscribe. If you tap the bell, you'll get a notification of all our new content. And have a little look in our description for today's video. We've got a link for another video that you might find enjoyable if you've enjoyed today's one. So stay inspired and have a go, and we look forward to seeing you soon.